Hi, everyone, and welcome to Knowledge of Spirit Radio, where we seek to find a hidden truth. I'm one of your co-hosts here, New York celebrity psychic Jesse Bravo. With me is my co-host and the best host in the entire universe, Alan Cox, UK's top psychic radio presenter. Say hi, Alan.
Hello. And every week you take my breath away with your introduction of me. So I'm definitely getting those carpenters in to widen my doorways, because my head just swells up every Friday.
Well, Alan, with your accent, you give us 30 more points on our IQ, so you have to be here because you can't leave it to me.
All right, okay. Anyway, you're my best favourite and world-beating host as well. So
all right, you see, it works hand in hand. You can't have the right hand without the left in the handshake, right?
That's true. That's right.
Well, let's pay some bills here. Let's just talk about some things really quick, guys. You're listening to Knowledge of Spirit Radio. You can find us on knowledgeofspirit.com. You can find us on our fan page of Knowledge of Spirit. You can find us on Twitter. Pretty much you can find us every single place that you can possibly imagine. We're here. We'd like to let you know that we will be starting a new magazine in July that is for free, F-R-E-E, free.
Not the number three. Not the number three.
But free. And as they say, if it's free, it's for me. Sign up on our website, go to the contacts area, put in your name and your email, and we will send you out free copies every single month. We already have 8 A-listers who are going to be main contributors of the magazine, and it's going to be all about spirituality, tarot cards, horoscope, vegan, yoga, anything that you could possibly imagine. It's already in there. So it's going to be really hot, and we're really excited. Like we said, we want to get to the 3 million mark very quickly, and it'll make it very, very exciting for everybody else. Now, today is going to be an action-packed day. So if you're listening to us right now in Australia, China, the UK, Canada, United States, Japan, India, Malaysia, wherever you are right now, thank you for listening, because we're going to have 3 hours of action, non-stop packed spiritual action today. 2 big names, a double-header, and we have a very nice gentleman. I've been able to speak to him, and we got along so well, so down to earth. That's what really came across to me, Alan, when I spoke to our first guest, which is John Holland. John, welcome to the show.
Hey, Jesse. Hey, Alan. Thank you.
Okay,
oh,
John.
My God. We're so happy to get you on board here. And
well, it's about time, don't you think?
You're so right.
You've only come on so you can hear my UK accent, haven't you, John? Tell the truth.
Yes, I did.
Well, John, you just came back from the UK. Is that correct?
Yeah, I was there. I've been going back and forth for 13 years. I have a family there. My ex lives there, but we're still the best friends. So they're like my family there too. And something happens to me, Jesse and Alan, when I go there. I know I must have lived there in another life, because everything is very peaceful and calm. I just fit right in. Something happens to me like I've been there my whole life, and most likely I must have lived there before.
I mean, for anybody who hasn't been to England and that, I suppose like all countries, but it's got a totally unique atmosphere, hasn't it, John?
Well, it's a psychic stream, isn't it, Alan? Everything is made out of stone. There's no vinyl siding, and your highways, all the land you just see land when you're driving. You don't see mini malls on the sides of the road, and it's a psychic stream. I mean, Glastonbury and the circles, and it's fascinating, and I do love it.
That's lovely. We love to have you over here. So, how's that?
Yeah. Well, I always like to start, Alan, like I always do, is let's start from the beginning. We speak to a lot of people, and we have a lot of guests on, right?
Yeah.
When was the first time that you recognized that that something was different? Let's just put it that way. Something was different.
Jesse, you talking to me or Alan?
I'm talking to you, John.
Oh, okay. Well, I guess I was always this way, Jesse. I've said this many times, where I was raised Irish Italian Catholic in Boston, Massachusetts, and out of the 5 kids, I was the different one. I was the one that saw things that other kids didn't, or I would know things I couldn't possibly have known. I was fascinated by magic, spirits. Bewitched and I Dream a Genie were like the bomb for me. You know, I love those shows and Dark Shadows, and it was fascinating. And I just knew things, so I hid the ability as a child because I didn't want to be different. Not only was I quite sensitive and psychic, I was skinny, I had big ears, I had a patch on my eye, so I was quite the little kid, and I hid the ability until years later, an automobile accident what happened was after the automobile accident, the abilities that I had pushed down as a kid came to the surface. So that's how it all started, actually. And the accident is what brought it back out. And I really believe, Jesse and Alan, that saying, some things happen for a reason. Yeah. I believe that accident was my wake-up call. It's like God saying, okay, let's try this. We tried the dreams. We tried the intuition. We tried synchronicity. And I thank that accident for happening to me. And I really believe that some things are meant to happen, but what you do about the situation is the free will part.
Wow. So was it a near-death experience?
No, I didn't die, but the car did.
Come back to life again?
No, when you walk away from a car that's totally crunched and you walk away with not even a bruise, you know you were lucky. You know that there was a purpose. And all my childhood, I would study psychic ability. I was always fascinated by it. Instead of being out playing sports, I'd be reading these books as a kid, and that accident really was my wake-up call. And once I got my life together, that's when the psychic ability started happening. But the mediumship didn't happen right away, Alan and Jesse. I started doing, my friends wanted me to do readings, and I said, no. I didn't want to be called freak again. I didn't want to go back to those childhood memories. Too much responsibility. Your life is in my hands, and So I slowly started doing it. I started reading cards at an aromatherapy shop, and 2 years into doing psychic work, people on the other side started showing up. So what I think happened was I finally, after doing so many readings, I must have raised my energy high enough where those on the other side met me halfway. And you know what? They haven't stopped. So it's been about 20 years. So that's basically how it started.
Wow.
With the crash. Were you alone in the car?
Yes, I was. Yep.
You see, that I suppose that's a...
well, physically I was alone. Yeah.
Yeah, but what I'm trying to get at, John, is that it's like something has to happen to get us on our journey. And by that I mean you, Jesse, myself, and all of the people who are on this kind of journey. It's like there has to be something quite... memorable or severe, a wake-up call. Yours is very dramatic, obviously.
Well, you know what I found out, too, Jesse and Alan, by doing this work, I know a lot of people and a lot of mediums and psychic, most of us had a traumatic childhood. Or there was an alcoholic in the family. And I'm not saying that if you have an alcoholic in your family that you are psychic. I'm just saying that I really believe that I needed to know what pain and suffering was to help other people. Not every medium had that kind of background. I'm sure, I'm positive, but a lot have had a very traumatic or dramatic childhood.
John, I'll tell you this. Some of the Coles may not know this about me, but that's exactly what my background is. My real father, is a drug addict alcoholic. And I think what happens is that, as kids, when you have that type of household, you have to dig deep down inside of yourself. You have to touch stuff that other kids don't have to touch at that age.
Well, and in being in that family, Jesse, if you were sensitive as a kid, which I'm sure you were, we had to know what was going to happen. You know what I'm saying? So, so having that kind of childhood made me use my ability, my sensitivity even more. You have to know what's going to happen, and what happens too to anyone who is listening. This is something that I've discovered. If anyone is listening, you have an alcoholic in your family, you're always worried as a kid. Worry, worry, worry. So worry as a child turns into anxiety as an adult. So if you have anxiety, it doesn't mean you had an alcoholic parent or an alcoholic family, but think about it. If you have anxiety, did you have that kind of upbringing, where worry as an adult turns into anxiety. Yep.
Alan, did you have a traumatic childhood yourself?
Well, actually, I was just listening, and I was thinking about my childhood. I'm an only child, and I suppose compared with most people, I had quite a really good childhood. But,
you were the lucky one.
Yeah, but mine started when I became an adult. I had my trauma, and I suppose mine was down to my first marriage and all the problems that brought me. So, growing up, we lived with my aunt and uncle, with my mum and dad, and I suppose I had some trauma in the fact that my uncle had gangrene, he had his left leg amputated, and I suppose that was for a 11-year-old, I suppose that was quite traumatic in a way.
Sure is.
So I didn't get away scot-free, but now compared to a lot of people, I had a pretty privileged, well, not privileged, but good childhood. There has to be an exception to prove the rule, doesn't it?
Yeah. Well, John, now that you sort of like you're in a child, you're now reading these books. There definitely other kids were not reading. You were definitely in a place in the library that no one else was at to get those books. And you start growing up. Now, and most and it depends on, every guest that we have, what their theories are or their beliefs. But as far as your ability is concerned, do you feel that it came from your family? Was anybody able to explain to you what you were?
No, actually. This is definitely from my mother's side of the family, guys, though. My grandmother, very psychic, but the word wasn't used. It was just that grandma knows things. Don't do it. So the word psychic wasn't in the vocabulary, but it's definitely from the Italian side of the family, because my siblings, some of my cousins have signs of it, and one of my cousins, she's really good. She knows when the phone's going to ring, who it is. She'll be like, Eddie, the phone's for you. And he's like, you're not even looking at the call waiting. She knows things about her kids, but she said she doesn't have the time to develop it, which is sad, but she definitely has it. One of my nieces, she knows things ahead of time, so it's definitely on the Italian side of the family.
Wow. And would you say that from what you're talking so far, it seemed like a lot of the women, do you think that you were the first man or not?
No, actually, my brother Joe also, a lot of things happen to him too, and so he's a nurse, and but they don't know. They're not really interested. They know they see what I do, and they're not even fascinated. They're not fascinated. They're not fascinated by it. And one of my brothers just saw me for the first time ever do what I do, and the smile on his face was amazing. So it's okay. I don't have to have my family. They're just happy that I'm just happy that they support me what I do.
When you grew up and you left school, college, whatever, did you? I use it in inverted commas. Did you go into a normal job?
Well, it's funny when I barely made it out of high school.
Right.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's I did everything. I worked at a bank. I served food. I bartended. I worked for a temp agency. I worked in accounting. I worked for aeronautics as people with doing the parts or expediting the parts. So I did anything that I could, to make a living. And this ability, no matter what, always came back. It was always there for me. And trust me, guys, I didn't just jump into doing this work. I wanted to know why it's happening, how it's happening. I wanted to know the mechanics of psychic awareness, what it does to the body. So I didn't just jump into this. I did a lot of research.
That's really interesting, because I did just jump in. We're all individuals and we all do things differently, don't we?
Absolutely. And, synchronistic events, I believe if you're really doing what you're supposed to be doing, I think your soul shows you synchronistic events. And when this started happening to me, my work closed. I was bartending, and the hotel closed. I said, well, I met somebody from, yeah, it was a huge hotel, And I met somebody from England at a party. They invited me over to England, and I just said, I'd love to go there to study with the spiritualists, some real hardcore mediumship, study with these people. And I said, how could I ever get there? And, well, my work closed. Well, I have the time. I was living in Los Angeles, and I said, well, how am I going to pay my rent? A friend of mine, she called me from Massachusetts, and she said, John, I understand you want to go to England. I want to come to California and study writing. How about if I pay your rent while you're gone? And I went,
my God.
Perfect. It was perfect.
Wow. So let's get into your studying now. You spent 2 years in England, is that correct?
Yeah, about 2.5 years.
Now, where did you study at? What was the name of the place?
Hold on, guys. Apparently my dog is freaking out.
Right.
That's okay. Bless him. I studied with 2 years. I studied with some mediums, and I sat in circle, and that's a development circle where you sit with mediums, you learn how to meditate, you let spirit in. You have to clear your mind to let the spirit people in. They taught me how to link with spirit, how to blend with them. And then while I was there, I also attended the Arthur Findlay College, which is brilliant.
Wow.
But a lot of people studied at Arthur Findlay College. You can't. It's an estate, and you take courses there. So I did spend some time there, but basically it was sitting in development with other mediums that helped me to be what I am now.
Oh, that's really amazing. We have a caller in queue, and he hasn't muted his phone, so it's that's where we're getting that noise from. So when you sat in the medium development circles, were they like attached to a spiritualist church?
Yeah, they were spiritualist, and I don't push spiritualism. I believe that I encompass all religions, but these are people. What I love about the spiritualist, and it's not a cult or anything. It's a religion. It's a faith, and you go there. They do a service. They sing. They do healing. But these people, their belief is the continuity of life. That life does go on. That's their thing, and it worked for me. And they're very evidential, Jesse and Alan, as you know, when it comes to them doing their mediumship or demonstrating mediumship.
Yep. Oh yeah. I spoke to someone recently. I'm not going to mention his name because I don't name drop on air. But he was quite angry, with some institutions because they were just cranking out psychics, essentially, like a factory.
Right.
And for the viewers out there and everyone who's listening out there, traditionally from the UK is a very conservative model. And what you would have to do is you would have to sit in a church literally for 2 years and study under the mediums before you were even allowed to attempt to do any type of platform readings.
Absolutely. Yep.
So that's like quality control, and that's what you went through, John.
I did, and I wasn't ready to go up there, and anyone who is out there and you want to do this, you've got to do the work. And you know what, too, Alan and Jesse, before you connect to another spirit, get to know your own spirit first. Get to know your own soul, because and just sit in the silence of what your soul really is. And I think too many people, their light is turning on, their intuition. If that happens, it doesn't mean you're supposed to do it in public. And people don't realize, too, this is a life of service. This is a huge responsibility. It's a life of service, and I'm doing it to help other people. And I never set out to become known. One thing led to another, and it happened. I just started out like, let me help parents that have lost children, and that's how it started.
That's amazing.
You see, when you think about it, John and Jesse, the reason why people get well known, like you, John, like you, Jesse, like myself, isn't that you kind of caught, if you want to use the word fame, is the fact that it comes to you simply because you're getting the message out there and people are getting help from it. It's not about yourself. It's about what you can give to others.
It's true. And you know what, too, Alan? When I was over there studying with these mediums, and some of them are very well known, you wouldn't think of walking up to them and say, can I have a photograph with you? Can I? No way would I do that to some of these tutors. So when people do it here and I'm teaching, I'm like, look, you're making it about me. This is not about me. It's about me training you how to do this. You know, so, you know, when you go to England, you see that. Like, I would never think of going up to a teacher and say, can I have a photograph so I can put it on Facebook? You know, it just doesn't happen.
No, you're right.
Oh, that's totally true. So I always like to ask this because, you know, I like interviews to be so dynamic. What was the craziest reading you ever gave in your life?
Crazy. Oh,
yeah, because it stood out to you.
Well, I wouldn't say crazy, but, you know, I do so many with my groups and when I'm teaching. I think the craziest one that I remember, I was getting ready for work, getting ready to demonstrate, and I'm with Hay House Publishing, and we were doing one of the big events, and I'm getting ready, and in my mind, I saw Snow White being carried in the crystal casket by the dwarfs, and I went, all right. Now, I'm not a dad. I just didn't read any grim fairy tales. And I just said, okay, someone's trying to get through. Now, I didn't stop getting dressed and start to chant, who are you? What do you want? I just said, you know what I did? I flipped my hand. I said, see you at the event. See you at the event. Because I try to teach people, you are in control of it. It is not in control of you. You are in control of your mediumship. So when people say, the spirits are keeping me awake, I see them all the time, untrained. You can learn to shut it off because you have to. So, yes, I'm continuing getting dressed, and then I'm a scuba diver when I can. I'm a certified scuba diver, and I saw the old scuba helmets that they used to use in the day, where they were metal helmets with the little screen on the window.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so I said, all right, something else is coming through. So even though I'm a scuba diver, I knew I had nothing to do with that. So once again, I said, see you at the event. Now, I don't go out on stage, so I get on stage. Now, I don't go out there to the 900 people in the audience and say, who here understands a reference to Snow White? Well, how many hands would go up? We call my husband Dopey. You know, my last name is Snow. I just read that story. No. So I'm doing the messages, and then it just came together. Spirit will use what is ever in your mind that you've ever studied, everything, whether it's medicine or plumbing, whatever's in your mind, Spirit can use to give a message. It's your psychic data bank, and it just came together. So I pointed to a section of the audience, and I said, who here understands someone being buried in a casket with a window? And sure enough, in my head, I'm like, oh, please, somebody understand this. Woman raises her hand. And I said, Jesse and Alan, I said, all right, darling, I said, you understand somebody buried in the casket with a window? And she said, yes. She said, but it's not a casket. And I said, you know, I want to make sure it fit because I don't like just give messages out. And I said, what do you mean? And it made sense. She was a glass blower. And while a friend of hers passed away, and his name was Billy, for Billy and his family, she said that she would blow the glass urn. But what she did was she left a big white bubble on it for a window so he could always look out. And I said, oh, it's a room with a view. You see, so Spirit used, they had to just think about it, how they had to break that down, how they had to get me to say that, showing me the crystal casket and then taking the window from that old scuba diving mask and bringing it together. Now, I didn't see a urn. I couldn't even think of something like that. But that was one of the ones that I'll never forget because it was too strange. It was just too perfect, and everything else followed. And there's only one other one. Once in a while, I feel my guides test you. Sometimes we get stuff before we get on stage. Other times when I'm lecturing or when I'm just about to start. You never know. And one thing about mediumship is you never know what's going to happen. That's the scary part, but it's the exciting part. Now, you know, I did Australia, and there's 3,000 people in the audience. You better be accurate, or you have to be. You know, you can't say, is there a John who passed from cancer? You know, so I didn't get anything until I started, and then I got something. And I pointed to a section. I said, who's here, Dad, was a clown for Ringling Brothers and Byron Bailey Circus, because he's coming through. Woman raises her hand. I said, all right, let me get this straight. Your father was a clown for Ringling Brothers and Byron Bailey Circus. And she said, not only was he the clown, John, he's the one that climbed the ladder and would jump into the small pool of water. And that's what he was known for. So I can't forget those kind of readings. So those ones always stick out. And, of course, many many of them that which I write about in Born Knowing, my first book, everyone is different, Jesse, but some parents that have lost kids come through in a very special way, and they make sure that I don't forget a lot of them.
Yeah. I mentioned that. I had a seance 2 days ago that I did. And just like you, sometimes Spirit doesn't tell you what's going on yet. You just got to just show up, and it all happens.
Yeah, get out of the way.
Yeah, just get out of the way. So I'm just there, and so I'm starting it up, and then all of a sudden I see this young man. First it was her mother, but then this young man came up. And so, I'm always reluctant to tell that to people sometimes. Because as you know, sometimes when you're an empath, all the feelings start to rush in with it.
Sure.
So sometimes you want to be in control. So I told her who it was. I said, yeah, this person, blah, blah, blah. She's like, oh, that's my son who's passed. And it always amazes me.
Yes.
I'm always amazed. I'm personally always amazed because I was just like, you know what? That's not me. You know what I mean? I couldn't have thought of that.
Right.
It's an impossibility. And when that happens, it sort of brings a smile to your face because you're like, you know what? I don't have to be in control. Just use me. I just talk, and it all comes out.
Absolutely. And you just get out of the way. Less of you and more. And I've learned, it took many years, I would pick apart a message. And, of course, I would distort it. And someone said to John Edward once, he was picking apart a message, and someone just said to him, one of his colleagues, stop reading the mail, John, and just deliver it. And I never forgot that.
Wow.
I know you're on about what comes to mind with me is a private reading at someone's house. And I said I could see a box, and in this box was a lot of letters and pictures, and the person who owns the box was murdered, and it's a young girl, and the young lady in front of me, she said, yes, that was my cousin, and they've never found who's done the murder, and I said, well, it's a really old car that was made for like 20-odd years. It was an old Ford Cortina, and there was two black guys, and she'd just come out of a nightclub. And from me telling her that, she went to the police, and they did some tracing. They did actually catch the people who did it. So wow. It's amazing how spirits do work sometimes.
Well, I understand that too, Alan, but sometimes I don't understand. Some people will say, where's the will? Where's my mother's diamond? I mean, and people are like, well, if you can get all this evidence from them, why can't they tell you where this is? And sometimes I don't know how to, there's all kinds of theories that they're not attached to physical things, but I do get some amazing advice, and, why can't they tell you where the will is? And I'm sure some people are shaking their head, yeah, right. It's, I don't know. Like, this is not, every time you demonstrate mediumship, it's an experiment. You never know what's going to happen.
Exactly, and of course you always get the bright sparks to say, "Can I have the lottery numbers off you?"
Of course.
Yeah.
If you had 5 cents for every one of those calls, you would never have to work a day in your life.
No, you'd win the lottery yourself.
I would tell him, if I can get the lotto numbers, why would I be sharing them with you? Right. And it's a joke, but I just tell him it's not. Now, let me ask you, John. I see that you also have your own version of a tarot oracle deck. Do you actually use tarot yourself?
I used to. I love using it if I'm doing a private session. But when I told you guys that I started reading cards in an aromatherapy shop. Well, I read the manual, and you know how people are funny too. When they pick a card, does this guy like me? And they pull the card. Oh, I don't like that card. And then they pull another one. You know what I mean? But I was reading cards, a normal deck, and the cards were speaking to me intuitively. I was getting things that weren't in the manual. I would notice a red scarf on one of the characters, and I would look at the person. I said, how long you've had the thyroid issue? And she'd be like, how did you know that? And I just said, I'm just picking it up. Now, there wasn't a thyroid card in the deck. You know what I mean? There's ways of looking at tarot. I think it's beautiful. And so I said, I'd love to create a deck that would help people look at them intuitively. And that's where Psychic Tarot came from. And I never knew, Jesse and Alan, that it would be so huge. It's huge. I mean, that in the app is huge, and it's always the top 5 or 6 on Amazon under tarot decks, and it came out 3 years ago, and now I'm doing a companion deck that goes with it. So I'm honored, and a lot of people have given me a lot of great feedback. So I do use them, but I'll use the deck or my app, the Psychic Tarot app, for myself too. If I have an issue, I'll say I need to pick a card. I need to step out of my own head sometimes.
I think that's the biggest problem, right, Alan, for us psychic mediums is that, like, I'll give you an example. I'm involved in a divorce. I'm divorcing right now, right?
Sorry.
So a lot of my friends, oh, no, believe me, it was the greatest thing that's ever happened to me. But, like, my friends who are very judgmental of what I do, who like to poke fun, they said, wait a minute, I thought you were psychic. You couldn't see that coming, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
And I have to tell them, I say, you know what? For psychics, we can't always get the information for our own lives because we're so self-centered and it's so close to the breast for us.
Absolutely. Well, most people think, I lost my mom 2 years ago, and they were like, yeah, but you get to talk to her. Yes and no. I mean, I know when she's around, but it's not like the movies, everyone who's listening. My mother doesn't appear with the pizza in her hand. Hey, Johnny, it's me, Ma. I need another medium, and we're too close to it. If I did get information from my mom, I'd have to discern, is this me? Because I know everything about the woman, you see. So, it is like that, Jesse. And no, we don't know everything, nor would we want to. The gift that we have or the ability, it's for others. That's why we don't know lottery numbers. That's why it's not for, it's to serve. It is to serve. It doesn't mean that we don't use it or feel intuitive about some things. And I don't know about you, Alan and Jesse. Sometimes I forget I'm a psychic. Where are my keys?
Yeah.
Where are my keys?
That's right. Oh, don't talk to me about keys. I lose them every day.
Absolutely.
That's so true. Now let's get into the psychic and medium, right?
Yes.
Because I get into this with a lot of people, and I think you and I are both on the same plane on this one. But it's my ability that everyone has psychic abilities. Everybody's intuitive in one way, shape, or form.
Sure.
But not everybody's a medium, correct?
Right. We're all born psychic, and everyone who's listening, I call it soul senses. You are a soul that comes with a body, not a body that comes with the soul. Think about it. You're a soul first that comes with the body, not a body that comes with the soul. And as a soul, you have soul senses. You're born intuitive. That's why you see kids, when they're coloring, they'll make somebody green or black or red. And you're thinking, oh, look, he doesn't even, he's not drawing a white man or a black man. It's like, why is he drawing green around someone? Maybe that kid is seeing someone's aura. And I always tell people, too, if you have a child that's very sensitive, and I write about that in The Spirit Whisperer, just listen to your kid, guys. Don't do what my dad did. Say, it's your imagination, go to your room, shut up, something's wrong with you. Listen to the kid, because maybe in that imaginary playmate, maybe they're not imaginary. Maybe it's a great-grandmother of yours or something. You don't know. So everyone is born psychic, but when we start school about 6 or 7, we stop using that creative side, and we have to use the left side, the analytical side, because school starts. You got to learn math, reading, instructions. We forget about that side of us. So everyone is born psychic. So there's a difference. A psychic perceives. They're getting the information from your aura, your past, your present, your potential future. Mediums or mediumship, you're getting it directly from the other side. So look at it this way. Psychics perceive, mediums receive. Every medium is psychic because you have to be, but not every psychic is a medium. And if you're a great psychic and you're helping people, you don't have to do the dead people thing, guys, okay?
Yeah.
Stay there. We need you to do that, to help people with their careers. Yes.
But I'm sorry, Alan, go ahead.
Yeah, I remember going back some years ago when I used to do psychic fairs, and there was 5 of us clairvoyant psychics, whatever you want to call us, and this woman went round to each one of them, and I was the last one. Yeah, and I was the last one she came to, and I said whatever I said, and she said, "But I wanted something different, and you just told me what the other 4 have told me."
Exactly.
I said, "Well, it only comes from one source." I said,
right.
I can only tell you what's there.
Well, yeah. Absolutely. And I don't think when somebody loses someone, guys, that you should immediately run to a medium. I've had people, when I used to see clients, they lost a child. They want to see me in a week. No. You have to go. I'm heavily into bereavement counts. I mean, I believe in Elizabeth Kubler-Ross's work, David Kessler, who I'll be working with, and I've worked with in the past. You've got to go through the bereavement, the shock, the denial, the anger, the acceptance. You shouldn't run to a medium right away. And if I tell people, give it 3 months at least. Give it 3 months. Give yourself some time, and also importantly, give the person who just passed a chance to be home again.
Now, when you communicate, and this is a great question because I know a lot of people ask me this question. Now, let's say someone dies, whoever dies. Let's say a child dies, right?
Yes.
Parents come to see you.
Yes.
Now, let's say the child didn't stay here on this plane. They've moved into the spirit world.
Yes.
When you call on that child, does your spirit guide go to spirit world and get message, or does the spirit actually come to you?
Well, like I said, every reading is different, and I find it funny. Some people say that children grow up on the other side, and I can't comprehend that. I'm not saying that's not true, because is there a physical body over there, or do you take the shape? I don't know, but I do know this, that say a woman lost a 3-year-old girl. A mother sadly lost a 3-year-old girl. I'd say to the mother, I feel like I have a 13-year-old here. And the mother would say she would be 13 this year. Other times, the spirit would come through as the baby. But if a baby came through at 2 or 3 years old, I'll say that, and the woman would be like, that's my child, even though it happened. So the spirit knows how to come through, and the parent recognizes them, whether it's years later. But I got to tell you this. If a child comes through young, they don't have a lot of life experience on this plane to use for references or validation. So another relative, a grandmother, will come with them to help with the communication. At least for me, that's how it works.
Okay, wow, that's interesting. Now everybody works differently. With me, I don't see with my eyes physically because I don't want that.
Right.
But I see internally. I don't even know where in my brain it is, but I see them that way. How do you sense them? Do you just sense them in an energetic form? Do you actually feel their presence? Do you actually see them? How's it work?
Okay, so there's two kinds of ways to see. Subjective, Jesse, like you do in your own head, and objective. And many times people who are listening, how many times have you seen things out of the corner of your eye? You see something go by. That's objective. Yep. Now, there's a medium who I know he's British, Robert Brown. He sees the spirit on the outside, subjectively. He'll say to the woman he's reading, I've got a gentleman here. I'm looking at a gentleman. He's about 5'7". His hair's parted on the side. He's got thick Coke-rimmed glasses. He's got a scar on his face. He's about 155. That's how clearly he sees. I used to see that. It was taken away for some reason, and that's fine. I don't need to see them. I will hear the information clairaudiently, or I will feel. I will feel clairsentience. Is it a father? Is it a mother? Is it a child? And and a lot of people who are clairsentient, which is to feel, a lot of my students I don't want to be clairsentient. I want to see. And I'll say to them, go with what you have. And then it will happen when it's supposed to. Just stick to the clairsentient if that is your strongest psychic strength.
I totally agree. You go with what's the strongest, and but it's quite funny because when you think about it, sometimes you may not want to see all this stuff out there. I mean, I know some people that have to sleep with the lights on at night because it's just too scary to sleep in the dark.
Right, absolutely. And I teach a lot of kids are very sensitive, and their energy centers are open. So in my book, I teach parents, learn, first of all, guys, if you have a psychic child, learn about what psychic ability is so you have a good education. And then if you got a little kid, a child, 6, 7, 8 years old, and they're having dreams or they're seeing things, teach them to turn down their lights. That's their energy centers. Teach them to turn down their lights, and I think that's beautiful. Whether you see the lights going dim as a flower, and you will not, and that kid will not be so receptive to the outside, the psychic vibrations that are around them.
Could we all have to switch off at some point, don't we, John?
Absolutely.
You can't be there 24 hours a day, and you have to do normal things in life as well. You can't live your life in spirit all the time.
Absolutely. Now, I went to England. I knew that I was going to be there for only 2 years, so I was obsessed. There were 10 spiritualist churches in the UK, and I didn't go over there and go see Windsor Castle or the Tower in London. I went there to study, and I went right into it. But because people can obsess about this work, and you shouldn't. You're a physical being and a spiritual being. Honor both sides. And the biggest challenge for me was a balance of my work life and the little personal life that I have. So it's been a constant balancing act for me. Not so much these days. I will book something ahead of time. Now, for the summer, I'm going to go up to Maine, and I rented a house just to say I need to get away. And if I don't book it, I'll just keep going.
Yeah.
And you are the vessel, so you have to take care of the physical body, and thank God I have a dog, which you heard earlier. And, he keeps me grounded. You can't be so spiritual when you're picking up poop. You know what I'm saying? It's a physical thing, and he teaches me to wake up every day, God knows he teaches me patience. And animals and by the way, animals go over to the other side too. And which is fascinating, guys. I'm so into dogs that I started a fund to help animals, who need operations so they don't get put down and they can get adopted. Ever since I started studying dogs, the breeds, what to feed them, I volunteer at a vet clinic when I can for free. This is some stuff that people don't know I do. Ever since I started studying dogs, instead of just feeling a dog on the other side, I see the breed. So how wonderful it is when someone's sitting in the audience and you say to the person, your German Shepherd's here, and sometimes they're there for the animal and not the humans, and you see the people break down. So it goes back to show us that spirit uses whatever you've studied, whatever you've learned.
Yeah, and it's so good because, I know that you have a lot of courses that you offer. One is Awakening Your Psychic Strengths, right?
Right.
And I think that's really good for people who want to do that at home where they may not be comfortable in a physical circle.
Right.
I learned in a physical circle because I felt comfortable being there. But if I was a little bit more quiet and scared, then taking this home and doing it on my terms would probably work better for me, if that's where it was.
Absolutely. And there are many people in the country or over the world where they may not have a psychic bookshop or a development circle. And it's kind of hard, too, Jesse, you can do it. God knows I learned, I studied a lot by myself, but it's always good to get into somewhat type of a group, even if it's a meditation group, so you can share what you're feeling, to give off what you're getting, so others can give off, and you learn from each other. So it's amazing when you can get into a group, but if not, there's so many different ways to do it, whether it's online or studying by yourself. But I highly recommend, if there is and go by word of mouth. Go by word of mouth, do the research, and not every group. Let me say this again. Not every group is going to be for somebody, because there's a lot of egos in group.
Yes.
There's a lot of egos, and they may be the star. And the group I sat in, they were very dedicated. There was 10 of us, and if you were late, they would lock the door every Tuesday. No, they look at it this way, guys. Spirit's making an appointment with you, then you honor Spirit by being there when you're supposed to.
Oh God, that John, you hit the nail right on the head with ego. I was part of a group, and it was the star, the person who taught. And as soon as I started to develop my abilities, I was out of the group.
That's sad.
But it happens all the time. But that's part of our journey. You know what? We're getting to the spot right now where it's starting to get. We're ready, like within 48 minutes. Would you like to take a phone call of somebody calling in?
Sure.
Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. Right now we have on the line caller 213, Wendell. Wendell, can you hear me?
Yes.
Hi, Wendell. How's everything going?
I'm fine.
Okay. Do you have a question for John?
I do. John, hi.
Hi,
I
Wendell.
do have your cards, by the way, and they're great.
Thank you.
Okay, I am here in San Diego, and I've been trying to get my boutique started. It's kind of been a dream of mine. It hasn't manifested. I've tried several times in the past 3 years. I've done the research, the area, written the business plan, and it's just not happening. And I'm kind of at the point where I'm ready to give up and go back into LA.
Right.
Because I'm a designer, and that's where most of my work comes from. I moved here basically for this boutique, and I'm just kind of, I don't know if it's you know, if this is what I should be doing, you know, should I move back? You know,
well,
I'm just trying to find clarity, I think.
How long have you been trying this, Wendell?
I've lived here now 3 years.
Okay, so what usually happens, Wendell, and it's not like I'm going to say, yes, in 2015 on December 18th, you're going to open this up. I do feel L.A., but remember, don't move to L.A. because John Holland is saying he feels L.A., you know? And I look at it this, Wendell.
Understand.
Yes. What I feel, too, though, if it's meant to happen, doors should open. God knows you've done the work, too, Wendell. Do you understand? God knows if you have done the work. But I think that eventually that this is going to happen, but not right now. And I feel, you know, and if it feels right, Wendell, to go back to L.A., if you feel the pull there, I feel more energetically you in Los Angeles. But remember, Wendell, use your gut. Don't go because John Holland is saying this. It's not a prediction. But I do feel that when you say boutique, you're talking about your clothes, yes?
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. And what I think will happen, too, Wendell, is I think that someone else is going to come in and see your talent and say, why don't you come under my place for a while, too? But you got to be careful, Wendell, too, because you're very independent. No one can tell you nothing. Do you understand?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay? But just be open. Don't sell yourself short. I feel Los Angeles, too, Wendell. And, Wendell, why am I picking this up? Where's your dad, sir? Where's your dad?
He's passed.
Absolutely. And it should be more of a statement. I shouldn't ask a question, where's your dad? Because you go, but he's in the living room. I feel dad around you. Usually I should have said to you properly, why am I feeling a father influence, okay? He's also making me aware here, too, though, Wendell, never got the chance to tell you how proud he was of you, Wendell. You have the same kind of upbringing I think I had, Wendell. Was your dad not the lovey-dovey, I'm proud of you, let me hug you, son?
Yeah, everything you explained a few minutes ago about your upbringing was mine. Yeah.
Absolutely. So your dad is coming through with apology, and he's making me aware. John, I never got to tell him that how proud I was of him. I never showed my emotions. Do you understand? Wendell, is he gone more than 4 years now, please?
Since 2009, October.
Yeah. 9, 10, 11, 12. Yeah, about 4 years. This is definitely him here. He's also talking about here, too, Wendell. You're just one of his sons?
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. So you got what, one brother and one sister, too, please? Or is it two brothers and the one sister?
2 brothers. Actually, 3 brothers, 1 sister.
Absolutely. This is so him. This is so him. Know your dad's supporting you, Wendell. Now, I know sometimes when the support, this is everyone who's listening, if nobody's around you, you don't have the support here, they can help you on the other side. They can guide you, but they can't take away your karmic lessons. Wendell, you know this. You're supposed to go through. If you're having a hard time with this, Wendell, it's only going to help you in the future, okay? So your dad is there. It's okay to call on him, Wendell, once in a while. Say, Dad, can you open a door for me? Can you help me wherever you are? Do you understand?
Right.
And one last thing, my friend, okay? Wendell, who worked at the post office?
God.
Is there a letter carrier?
From my family?
Yeah, did somebody living or past, did they work at the post office? Did they carry the mail?
God, I can't, it's possible, but I don't remember that.
That's okay. I'll give what I'm getting. I'm seeing a letter. That means either Dad wrote you one letter or someone works at the post office that wants to be acknowledged, okay? So just remember that I said that. But you understand about your siblings. You understand about your dad passing about 4 years ago. Did you not get to say goodbye, Wendell, to your dad, please?
Yeah, he passed in the hospital, and I was here in L.A., and
yes.
So I was not able to see.
I don't feel like he had the opportunity, but I got to be honest with you, Wendell. He thought of you before he passed, my friend, okay? I'm getting very emotional right now on this call, and I'm not going to start to cry because I can't, because I'll lose it. But I feel your dad's emotion. And let me tell you, Wendell, his forgiveness is coming through big time, my friend. You're going to be okay, Wendell. You're a talented young man, and you're going to be okay. And one last thing, my friend. Are you single right now, Wendell?
Yes.
Yeah. Get ready for somebody coming into your life, my friend. I feel like even though you're work oriented, and remember, I don't want you to date the very next person, okay? But someone's coming close to you, Wendell, because you need to be hugged. You need to be told. You need some friends around you, and here comes your partner, my friend.
Cool.
Okay, Wendell.
The reason why I think he's here is because I have his book. His book just came out. And the publisher they're sending me 25 copies.
Okay, excellent.
And so I think that's why I haven't called on him, but, I do talk to him every now and then. So, yeah.
Right. and I got to say this again for the audience too, for Alan and Jesse. They can't take away your karmic lessons. I had, and not to be joking, but one woman said, "Can my father help me with my finances?" And I said, "Well, how was he with money here?" And she said, "Well, he sucked." And I said, "He still does. Do you think that because he's in heaven or on the other side that now he's an accountant and can help you financially?" They can't take away your karmic lessons, but what does happen once in a while, if someone who's a construction worker, Jesse, I had a father come through and say, "Tell them there's a crack in the chimney that they need to fix." Well, sure enough, there was. And it was amazing because that guy was a construction worker. Do you see? So he knew this. I would take that kind of advice. And two sisters once said, John, my mother didn't tell me in the reading, should I divorce my husband? That's not your mother's job on the other side to say, leave him. Get away from him. You know, we have to learn our karmic lessons. But, Wendell, good luck to you, my friend. You're going to be okay.
All right.
Bye, Wendell.
Bye.
I'm sorry, can I just say that somebody keeps trying to ring through to me to put them on air. I don't know whether
they have to call the number. That's why we have it out there. Listen, John, just so you know, John, I'm having my phone go nuts right now of people calling in. But if you're listening out there, the number's simple, 504-273-7379. Calling me, I can't put you on. I can answer my phone, but I can't put you on.
Right.
And I apologise for turning the person off who keeps calling me on Skype, but the same as Jesse, I can't put you through. So.
Yeah, sorry, you got to call in the number. That's why we have the number, and it's a protocol. But, John, it's wonderful because, now I think at this your phase, you want to really be teaching now, right? Does that really give you the big joy at this point?
It does. There's a lot of young mediums coming up here, and I want to train people. I mean, there's many teachers, and I respect them all. I want to train people the way I was trained, with that evidence, because you know what, Jesse and Alan, I want people or students, when someone goes to see someone and they're not properly trained and they get on stage, and what if someone comes to see a medium and you're not properly trained? Well, that person's going to walk away thinking, that's a medium? They may never come again. Do you know what I mean? So,
yep.
I am getting a little older. I'm not, I'm still middle-aged. I'm okay, and I got many years ahead of me. But you know what, guys? It's I get a thrill out of teaching. That's why my parents, before my mom passed away, her and my dad, even though they were separated, they said, so that's why he read all those books, because I was taking in information to teach. And I love it. And when someone comes in, if I can help them be better at what they are to help other people, I feel I've done my jobs, and that's why I teach. And if people go to my website, they can see I'm going to be at Omega, in New York, and
Rhinebeck, right? Rhinebeck and Omega, right?
Yeah, absolutely. But what's good about that one is I invited three other mediums. One is a spirit artist, and Alan, Alan, you're from the UK?
Yeah, I'm living. Okay, I'm talking to you from there now. Yeah.
Okay. Do you remember Coral Polge?
Yes.
She's a spirit artist, okay? So I have Rita Berkowitz. So she's an artist. The spirit people come through to her. So imagine, Jesse, giving a message. I got your mother who's coming through. She passed from lung cancer, and she starts drawing. Now, she's a real artist. And you turn the pad around, or she draws your mother right in front of you.
Oh,
it's amazing.
That's just crazy. Wow. That's like almost like 3D spirituality.
Absolutely, and it's amazing. So I invited her, Danielle McKinnon, who's an animal communicator. She's wonderful, and she's not the kind of communicator that says your dog likes the Red Bull as opposed to the Silver Bull. She talks about soul contracts with your animals. She connects with animals here and on the other side. And also another medium, Janet Nohavik. Now get this. She was a Catholic nun who left the convent to be a medium.
Wow.
So, see, another life of service. So she teaches at the Arthur Findlay College, and she's in New Jersey. So I figured, let the four of us get together in Rhinebeck, New York on it's in July, and it's July 19th through the 21st. So anyone, I'm going to be in Connecticut. Anything you want to know, everybody, with my newsletter, just go to johnholland.com and anything you know there. But if you're interested in working with spending three all weekend with 3 mediums and myself, please come join us.
That's so exciting when you have, you have power in numbers, and everybody, because you have different skill sets, it all comes together as something so unifying, and it's gratifying. It really is.
Oh, you'll see me in the audience. And as much as I love doing this work, I'll go see John, Edward, or Lisa Williams, or any medium I can, because, one, I'm not doing it, and two, I get to sit back and watch it, and enjoy. Yes.
They have a saying here. It's like, barbecues are only good if you get invited to one, because you don't want to be the person having the barbecue. Because you're out there barbecuing, you're doing the burgers, you got to take care of this, you got to take care of that. There's 30 people. You never get to sit down and have a burger yourself. Absolutely. But I love to go to barbecues because I just got to sit back and enjoy. The same thing, right?
Absolutely, and I love watching the process. And, it'd be great if I get a message, that would be nice. I mean, sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. But I'm not there to get a message. I'm there to watch how spirit influences the medium, to watch the audience. I'm not there to judge. I'm there to be in the energy of the audience, and I love it. And when I do Omega on July 19th, I will be in the audience watching these other mediums work, because I'm the one that put this together.
Cool. Alan, we have someone else in the queue. Would you mind taking another call or no? John.
John. Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
Would you like to take another call? Let's see, because we have so many in the queue here. You would not imagine. It's pretty ridiculous, because Joe's just adding them slowly because he's being nice by just adding them up.
Are they queuing up? Are they queuing up the freeway? Are they?
It's clogging up the bandwidth. Can we have from caller from 416? Can you tell us your name?
Hello. Yes. Hello. Can you hear me?
Yes. Hi.
Yes. My name is Ingrid. Hi. Hi guys. How are you?
Hi, Ingrid.
I'm fine.
Great.
Thank you.
Do you have a question for John?
I do. We're talking a lot about spirits that have made it to heaven or the other side. I was wondering about earthbound souls, people that haven't made it to heaven or the other side. Do you believe in that, or?
Yep. You know what, Ingrid?
Yeah.
You know the show, James Van Prague show, he was the producer of The Ghost Whisperer, yes, that show? Okay?
Yes.
Now,
yes.
That show is really based on a medium who really does see earthbound spirits. I've never, and I do believe in it, are they really trapped, Ingrid? Are they in limbo? I don't, I can only go by what I've experienced. I believe that some people don't even know that they passed. And as far as a haunting also, sometimes, Jesse and Alan, I don't believe that every place is haunted. Sometimes a traumatic event happened in that space, and it leaves like a psychic snapshot, Ingrid, in the ethers, and it replays over and over. But, in people who have taken their own life, Ingrid, I've never seen them trapped here. What happens when I do mediumship, someone who has passed, who helped themselves cross over, who took their own life, they never come through by themselves, which I find fascinating. Almost like they don't have enough energy, like they're going through a healing. Somebody else from the family comes through with them. But I do believe, I don't believe that they're trapped. I believe that some people don't even know that they passed away. And there are rescue mediums who say, you've died, go into the light. But the Ghost Whisperer is based on a woman who really is a medium, who really does deal with earthbound spirits. And I've never had that experience. The people that I get on the other side, they're already over there.
I do actually. I have had that experience many times, and that's part of the work that I do, is rescuing earthbound spirits. So I understand why you ask it.
Yeah. And you know what?
Sorry about that.
It's okay, Jesse. The History Channel, if they can watch my YouTube footage. The A&E took me to the Shirtwaist Factory that in 1911, where the 90 women jumped to their deaths, and they put me in there blindfolded, and you can see that footage. But the History Channel says, let's take them someplace different. Well, they brought me to Waco, Texas. Okay, and that was and I got to be honest with you guys, one of the emotional things I've ever been through. Was David Koresh really haunting the place? I don't think so. But the energy of what he did to his followers, and the fires and the gunshots, I broke down. People don't get to see what happens to me because the energy was so bad. Ingrid, can I ask why you're asking, darling?
I'm asking because I've had some unique experiences myself, and I don't really want to go too much into that because I realize you have a show you have to do.
Oh, what a good woman!
But I've had some unusual experiences. I think I'll leave it at that.
Okay, that's all right. Okay. And
I think we all get it really quick, what you're saying, Ingrid. I think we all get what's going on right now. And if you want, you can continue a conversation, Ingrid, if you want to leave a message on knowledgeofspirit.com with us. And we can talk privately to help you out through your situation if you want.
That'd be great.
Absolutely.
KnowledgeOfSpirit.com.
Yeah, KnowledgeOfSpirit.com. I'll send one of my guides over there, and we'll clean the place out, and we'll be all right. That's how we roll.
Well, okay, thank you.
Thank you,
Rick. Have a great night. Thank you for coming on the show.
All right, you too.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Very sweet.
Yeah, she's so sweet. You know, and John, this is part of the process. I know the feeling of, you told me that you have no children, right?
Right.
That's a complete lie. You have thousands of children.
Yeah.
Because when you teach them how to become in tune with themselves, they're your children.
Yeah.
Because you're a father figure.
I am, and there are some people, too. By the way, they'll say, and people get confused, too. I love teaching people, and I understand that. Some people, they might have seen me on TV or my radio or read one of my books. Sometimes people will dream of me, and they'll be like, you came to me in my dream. What's the message? No, guys. No. Now, what it is, and this is not ego, they may look at me as a spiritual image or archetypal image of what psychic ability is. So if I believe that they're dreaming of me because I represent mediumship or psychic work. So if you have a dream of me, guys, you could say, aren't you maybe it's me in the astral. You know what I mean? Maybe I am busy in my sleep. I don't even get rest there. So it's, it doesn't necessarily mean that there's a message, Jesse, for someone. It means that, I represent, what I do.
Well, the thing is, John, you get people who, for whatever reason, they hang on every single word that you say. Whatever problem they've got in their life, they email you or phone or whatever, because I think, you can give the answer whether they should pop down the shop and get a loaf of bread today or not. And unfortunately, that does happen with people, doesn't it?
Well, they want because, the way society is, Alan, everybody wants a fast answer. A lot of people, I also teach a psychic development class. Get the answer for yourself. And other people, they'd rather just you give it to them, the easy way. And it's true.
And don't you see, John, also that there's sometimes an over-reliance on spirit with some people?
Oh, absolutely. And let's talk about spirit guides. They're here to guide you, to help you. Some people put too much emphasis on their guides. My guide told me to buy this lettuce. My guide told me to do this. They're not here to run your life, and nor do they want to. They're here to help you and inspire you. I talk about guides. I know they're there. I have a Tibetan monk who's with me. There's an African, but I don't, because for me as a medium, it's yes, people could come to me and say, who's my guide? But you know what? Find out who your guide is for yourself. So don't, and if there is a psychic that tells you that, that's great, but I'd rather, you find out who you are. Let them show you the signs that they're around. Ask them to show you the signs, who they are. But too many emphasis on spirit. Spirit this, spirit that, spirit this. You're a physical being and a spiritual being. Honor both sides of you.
You're so right. And I always notice that with some people, and especially in the psychic industry, and I'm saying this in general, not towards anybody in particular, but I believe that sometimes they let the client over-rely, and what essentially becomes is you become a crutch.
Yes.
And they don't get to live their life because they're constantly looking for answers when they should be doing the work themselves. I think that's essentially what you were saying.
Yes, absolutely. And when I used to see private clients, you can come see me once or twice, but that's it. You see, it's not about the money. It really isn't. It's about helping people. If they keep coming and coming, I helped you with the person on the other side came through with the evidence. They want you to go on. You will see them again. It's meant to help you with the bereavement. And some people like coming once a year because it's like a phone call to them. But I will not, when I was seeing people privately, I will not see people more than twice. Because I don't want them dependent. That. Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Yep. But you know what?
That's so good to hear.
You know what'll happen though, Alan? They go from you, and that's why I say to people, have you been to a medium? Yes. Have you been to a medium recently? And someone may say, yes, I saw somebody last week, and I'm like, well, they gave you a lot of evidence that I can no longer use. And so I like I said, Don't run to a medium if you lost someone. Wait a few months and go by word of mouth, guys, too. Find someone that ask someone who's been to a medium that they had a good experience, and it shouldn't be general. None of this, your grandmother's hair, she's brushing your hair, she loves you. It has to be, evidential. So it's really, really your dad, really, really your mom or your child.
Yeah, and John, I'm so glad because, you have so many courses for guidance, which I really like. I mean, you have 101 ways to jumpstart your intuition to get people going, right?
Yes.
That's sort of like an introduction to get people sort of interested and aware. And then you have the Psychic Navigator, which is really more of a hardcore series, right? Like you're programming yourself so that you can navigate your life for yourself, right?
Well, once again, Psychic Navigator comes with the CD. That came out in 2004, another big seller. A lot of teachers use it because no matter where I went, Alan and Jesse, no matter what teachers or what country or what book I read, it always came down to this: chakra, meditation, aura, breath. Chakra, meditation, aura, and the breath. I'm into the big yogi kind of teaching too, and like Yogi Ramacharaka. I mean, an old yogi. So I made that. It's a very simple book, and it comes with the CD, but still a huge seller for Hay House because a lot of teachers are using it for their students, and I'm honored. I am absolutely honored that my work is still out there.
Well, you see, your work's there simply because it's needed. Spirit want people. They know that what the messages that you're giving and what you're teaching people is necessary. So it'll stay out there in the forefront of people because it's relevant.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. And, if someone told me, Alan and Jesse, that, I'd have 5 books, an app, TV, radio show for 8 years, newspaper, I'd be like, yeah, right. That ain't, one thing led to another. And you know what, too? This is how honored I am and humble. Dr. Brian Weiss, good friend of mine, many lives, many masters. And before I really got to know him, and I said to him, Brian, I said, how does the people that you know feel about me? Because he's in a whole different circle. Now we are with the same publisher. And he said, you know what, John? They may not know you, but they know your work. I was honored. Just to hear that. They may not know you, but they know your work. And then I said, that's fantastic. Good.
And you know what? And it's different from feeling honored than ego because you're saying, you know what? I'm being appreciated not because of your ego, but I'm being appreciated for my hard work on behalf of Spirit.
Absolutely. Yep. And it's, I've been doing this work for many years and been with Hay House for 10. I really hold my work in high regard. Really, really, and I am approachable. And it's funny, I can get in front of 3,000 people on stage, but put me at a party or I shy away. It's so strange. When I tell people that I'm shy, they're like, yeah, right, I really am. I can do it on stage because I'm not alone, but put me at a party or someone's house, I'd be over there in the corner until somebody approaches me. It's really bizarre. It's but think about it. When I'm on stage, am I really alone? No, I got hundreds of people waiting to come through.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. And you have a purpose there that's bigger than you.
Absolutely.
Alan, you had something to say?
Yeah, no, I was going to say I understand that one. It's a strange thing. I can talk on stage, I can talk on radio, and but when it comes to private gatherings, I'm not the life and soul of the party. I don't know. Perhaps I stand back and observe. And I don't push myself forward. It's a bizarre thing. It's like when it's right, that's when you do what you do.
Absolutely.
Wow, John. Now, John, are you going to be writing any more books? I mean, what's in the cards for you in the future?
Well, I have I've got another 2 decks I'm working on. One is a companion to Psychic Tarot. A lot of people have issues with relationships. Not just spouses, love, but with their family, with work, with their friends. So I said, why not come up with a deck, Psychic Tarot for the Heart? So that's going to be coming out in February 2014. I've got another deck after that. So you know what, Jesse? I don't write just to write, to push out a book. I have to be inspired. I have to have sometimes Spirit will give me something to say. When I write, when I have something to say, as much as my publisher will be like, come on, John, you got to give another one. You got to do another one. It's writing for me it's not. Sometimes it's a good flow, and other times it's not, Jesse. It's tough for me to write. It takes me about a year to write a book, but I'm not done writing. I know that. I'll do another one.
Yeah, well, books are not easy, and I've been trying to write a book for the last 4 years, and it hasn't happened as of yet.
Right.
So, but it's not the right time, so that's how it goes. It's just one of those things, If it's not happening because it's not the right time,
right,
and it's meant to come out when it's supposed to, and the people who read it are meant to read it.
Absolutely.
So it's all matched up. It's kind of funny how the universe works. You're matched up with everybody who's ever going to meet and touch your life, or you touch their life. It's all meant to be in a way.
Absolutely. Yep.
Alan, you have any more great questions? Because we only have about 5 more minutes with John. And John, you know what? We have this one last caller that's been so patient.
Yes.
Do you think you could do a 1-minute reading? Is that possible?
I'll throw him on there. It's okay.
Okay. Caller 207, you've been patient. What's your name?
Christy.
Christy, listen, we don't have a lot of time, so I'm so sorry because there's not enough John to go around.
Okay.
So do you have a question for John real quick?
I just want to know if there's somebody around me. I've had some pretty bizarre things happening.
Christy. Okay, it's Christy, yes, not Kristen. Christy, yes?
Christy, yeah.
All right. Christy, Mom is here, but her mom is passed?
Yes.
Yeah. Did you know your mom's mom, please?
Did I know her?
Yes.
Yes, very well.
I feel like your mother is living, though. Your biological mom is here, though, Christy, correct?
Correct.
Absolutely, because I'm not going to put her on the other side. I feel like your grandmother on the mother's side is coming through here, too. I feel like she's one of the people, Christy, that may want to, sometimes, too, guys, everyone who's listening, sometimes people say, I feel someone, what's the message? Sometimes, Christy, you know this, if you loved your grandmother here, she loves you, sometimes it's not a huge message, everybody. Sometimes it's, I love you. I'm here for you. I'm here for you.
Yes.
Christy, she's also talking about here, too, though, darling. You're a mom yourself. Yes, Christy?
Yes, I am.
Okay, you have the daughter already?
I have a son.
Just how many kids you got? Just the one?
Just one.
How old is he, please?
19.
I feel like this grandmother is influencing the child, okay? Why is she giving me this, Christy? Okay, now kids, teenagers, I understand that 19 years old. Has something happened to the kid? And this is not a prediction, Christy. Already happened, okay? What happened to your son the past couple of months? Was there some trauma? Was there some drama there? What happened? Especially the last 2 or 3 months.
Yes, there was kind of some stuff going on.
I just feel
not really with him, but yeah.
Okay. I just feel like she's making me aware of she's taking care of some of the kid or some of the kids. She's an influence around you. And Christy, I don't like to give 2 names really quickly. I don't like to give the name John or Mary. We all have one. Everybody has one in their family. I'm an Irish Italian Catholic. There's always a John and Mary. But Christy, where is the MAR name, Christy? Where's the Mary, the Margaret? Where's the MAR?
Oh goodness, I don't. MAR. I don't know.
Living a past. I feel like it's on your mom's side of the family. It's okay, darling, okay? I'm just sorry that we have to do this so quickly, but I feel like it's one of your grandmothers, the mother's mother, your maternal grandmother, who's one of your people, Christy, that is taking care of some things for you. So I would reach towards her. Towards her, and she just said to me, my mom's birthday is August 11th, Christy. There's an August connection for your family she's making me aware of.
Okay, yeah.
Do you understand that?
Yep, that was her anniversary, actually.
Absolutely, Absolutely, Christy. And you're very intuitive yourself, Christy, so do the research, okay?
Okay, yes, I'm very interested in doing that. I just don't know where to start.
You know what, Christy? Let me help you out, darling, okay? I want you to send your name to info@johnholland.com, yeah? And your address, and say, John, it's Christy. You talked to me on the phone. I want to send you Psychic Navigator and one of my tarot decks to start you off.
Okay, info, what is it again?
Info@johnholland.com. Info@johnholland.com.
Wow.
Okay?
Thank you so much, John. That's
no,
awesome.
It's okay, Christy. Free of charge. Take it, Christy. Who knows? I might send you every book. I might send you every book I have, Christy. I don't know.
Oh, that would be awesome.
All right, Christy. So hopefully you're in this.
Thank you so much.
It's okay, darling. Info@johnholland.com. God bless you, Christy.
Thank you. You too.
All right.
Well, John, thank you so much. That was so sweet of you.
Yeah, it's okay, guys. It's about giving. You know what? You got to prime the pump. You know what I mean? Give and receive. Give and receive.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, John, I know that you have to go, and I'm not going to hold you here 1 minute more because we have had so much of you, and I told you I love you, so I can say
Jesse.
Am I invited to the wedding?
Yes.
Oh, God.
Well, he is divorced now, so we're going through it. But guys, thank you both, Jesse. Great radio show, and anything that they want to know, guys. I'm going to be in Connecticut, Omega. Just go to johnholland.com, and the newsletter helps too. Everyone, okay? I don't spam it. It just comes out every other Monday. A lot of those newsletters, you'll find out what's happening first before everybody else does.
Oh, that's really great for them to know. Well, John, I thank you so much for coming to the show, and from the bottom of my heart, I thank you. I've had so much fun with you today.
Thanks, guys. God bless.
God bless you. Have a nice night.
Bye, John.
Thank you.
Bye, John.